Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I have another Wild Horse Islands art competition compilation here. So today we have two different drawings. So the first one, we're starting off with a ghost Frisian horse, and this was a bit of an interesting challenge because I had to create this horse in a transparent style. Like the horse had to look transparent, had to look see-through, and that's not something I've ever done before. I usually just draw horses normally in a realistic style. So you notice here that I do trace the reference photo, and that is something that I typically do. I do trace the reference photo, but when it comes to the actual sketching of it, I actually will do that on my own now. I'm getting better with drawing horses digitally, so yeah, I'm making a lot of improvement, and I'm really proud of it. So let's see, overall here, you see now I am comparing the different sizes and proportions of the traced reference image and my current purple image. So I find it really helpful to do that, because when you kind of trace the reference photo to start off with, it kind of gives you an idea of the proportions and the different placings of things. And then when you draw it on your own, you kind of develop this bias of what your own drawing looks like. So then it's helpful to take the reference photo that you traced and then compare it with your own artwork and then see how that goes. So we are finalizing the line art here, and I'm slowly developing a style here. I didn't really have a style in my previous art videos, but I'm coming up with it. And you notice here, this is where I start to draw color the photo here. Now, initially I started drawing it incorrectly. So, like I said, the horse is supposed to look transparent, but when I started shading it, it didn't look transparent. It looked solid, and then I just erased the shadows and stuff. But that's actually not the case. So, I mean, it looks better here. But I think, as we go along here, you'll see it. Oh, it's semi-transparent. Now, it also doesn't kind of help that there is no background. If there was a background, yeah, you'd be able to tell it was transparent. But it's a gray background here, because I'm still not confident with drawing backgrounds. When we get to the second drawing, you'll see that I'll get to making a background. But here, yeah, I still don't have a background. But I am making some nice progress here on the shading of this horse. I really do like the pose here. I do like how this horse ended up coming out in terms of the pose. And I do like how I came up with the tail a little bit. The tail is a little bit modified. So let's see, we're now moving on to the shading of the mane and the tail here. I wish I had the reference photo of this person's horse, but basically it was a ghostly red Frisian horse with, I believe it's the autumn fade, the bright autumn fade mane and tail dye. So anyways, let's see, we are now moving on to actually shading the mane and tail. So in my previous videos, I have talked about the style of the mane and tail, actually the hair in general that I'm trying to emulate. I'm still trying to figure out how to really do that, because the mane doesn't look quite right here. The tail looks better in my opinion, but the style of the mane and the tail, I was watching YouTube videos of this one artist that they have a YouTube channel, they have an Instagram, so I was referencing their style to try to emulate something like that, and I'm still trying to get it. I'm not quite there. It's hard for me to figure out how to do hair. I like using hair brushes, brushes that are designed for drawing hair, but at the same time I do find that they can be a little bit difficult. So this is a bit of an interesting style. It's a little bit flatter. It's a little bit if you look at Breyer horses, that's a good example of kind of the hair that I'm kind of going with. But also to that specific artist that I'm referencing, they said, oh, look at anime figurines, because it's three-dimensional and it's different planes of hair and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get that here, trying to develop the values of the mane and tail, so the darkness and the lightness, and then add layering of the colors on top of that. But yeah, I'm still trying to come up with that and what my style is. But I mean, the line art looks really nice. I think with this sketch, I got really attached to the sketch, and I didn't want to do the line art, and I think a lot of artists agree with that. They really like the sketch, but then the line art is they don't like the line art. So yeah, I think that's, I don't know, it's I redo my art style every single time. Oh, and here the Frisian did have horns, so I forgot to do horns at the beginning there. So anyway, so we're moving on to the next one here, and this is where we do have a background. So once again, I am tracing the reference photo here. I am actually tracing a little bit less than I did the first photo. So let's see here. The pose looks very nice. I am planning on making a tutorial series on how I draw horses and like how I draw like my style and stuff. I'm still planning out all of the different pieces of content for that, because it is going to be a pretty extensive series. But I don't know, at the same time, like my style and my way of sketching and doing line art and coloring is like changing every single video, so it's kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, overall the proportions here in this particular drawing, I had an easier time with this one for whatever reason, I don't know. So it was just a lot easier to get the shape of the body looking right. And you see now I'm turning around the reference photo, I'm flipping it to the other side, because sometimes this is a thing that a lot of artists do. They will flip the image because, like I said earlier, you will develop a bias for what the image looks like from one perspective, but then when you flip it around, you get to see the mistakes or inconsistencies, when you face it around the other way, because you're not used to looking at it in that direction. So I flipped it around again. We are doing the line art here. As I look at this now, I notice that the size of the legs, like the width, how wide the legs are like not all the same. Like if you look specifically at the front leg and the back legs, they're like two different sizes. So that's very strange. Oh, I should mention this horse that we're drawing now is actually it was actually designed for a Secret Santa event within the unofficial Happy Acres Discord server. So it turned out pretty well. I really like how I did the tail here. I actually drew the sketch and the line art. Actually, no, I think it was just the line art, the base color, and the tail here. I did that on a Discord call, and I was just doing an art stream and just chatting with some friends and people in that Discord server. So it was pretty fun. The tail here, this one I think is my best tail that I've done in this particular style. This is my third horse doing this particular style of the mane and tail, and like I said, it just is getting better every single time, but it is still a work in progress. Like out of everything, I think it's the mane and tail that I need to like focus on more and practice that, because I mean hair is hard, no matter what sort of thing that you're drawing. I think a lot of people in the anime community struggle with hair. I feel like a lot of people struggle with hair in the realism style as well. So it's definitely a work in progress. So we're adding some shading here. I was not very, I was not heavily detailed here as I was in some previous artworks. My very, very, very first pieces of art, those were like actual realism, like actual realistic studies. These are more, a little bit more stylized, a little bit not so zoom in and like really look at the details. Like I didn't really do that. So okay, this is also the very first time that I have ever drawn white markings on a horse. So usually I have only done like solid color horses, but this is the first time I've ever had to draw. This is the chestnut Sabino coat on this horse. I don't remember what one it was, but I had to actually go into my Wild Horse Islands account on Roblox, and I actually had to look at this horse from this particular angle, so I could see like, oh, this is where the white markings go. So the white markings here, I used a different brush than what I used to color the base colors with. I used the medium airbrush for the base colors, and then I used the real pencil. It's a custom brush from a brush pack. I'll put a link in the description, but I used that to do the white markings here. And I think the white markings turned out okay, considering if you really look at the Wild Horse Islands coats, they are not very detailed at all. It's actually kind of pixelated, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of, that's just what it looks like. So I kind of had to take a little bit of liberty in terms of how detailed the coat looked. But yeah, I think I'm much more confident doing white markings now. Like I said, I usually have never done white markings before. So I'm more confident doing that. Am I going to ever open art commissions? I wanted to bring that up. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I want to. I definitely want to. Okay, so I also added a shadow here and some background as well. I really like how this turned out because the horse is kind of a reddish gray and then it's contrasted with the green here. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy these speed paints, and let me know in the comments below if there's any sort of art you'd like me to try, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye everybody.